Hi, this is the 3/4 inch Eurotherm / Sigmatherm thermostatic valve. This particular valve body is made in France by Eurotherm. We believe that this is the finest product made, and it's a very simple instrument to exchange the cartridge. When you first get your valve, you will have a lid on it that shows nothing inside. We ship it that way because we don't want the customer to install the cartridge. If you look over here, it says do not install the thermal cartridge until the hot water thermostat heater is all working. This comes marked on the box. If you don't have hot and cold water to the valve, you should not be trying to operate this system. So the first step is to understand this lid, not the screws, but the lid will be removed. Ultimately, inside this box is going to be a cartridge, just that we have right here. So this cartridge, when you originally received it, was independent of the system. So there's your cartridge, and the cartridge is attached to the lid. These are made in France. So what I want to do is I want to be able to insert it into the valve body, and you can see that it just slips in, and these two screws simply attach back to it. This particular valve requires you to have independent shutoffs upstream of the valve so you can shut the water off, or you need to shut the water off at the house. This valve gives you the highest flow rate because it has no restriction coming in. There's a bottom exit and a top exit. You can use one or the other or both at any particular time. And the next version of the same valve, you'll see that we have a cold water and a hot water shutoff valve. These are independent, and these are quarter-turn ceramic cartridges. So they simply turn off and on to shut the water off. So you could have a system, same size valve, but you will have a different way of shutting the water off for replacement of the cartridge. Today, these cartridges come with a large Allen key to unscrew and screw in the countertop. When the water is shut off and the water has been thoroughly drained from the valve, you can exchange the valve. You'll notice that on this valve we have screens and we have a seal right here which actually will come off. This particular seal hides what we'll call a check valve. The check valve is built right into the body of the unit, so you will not get cross connection in this particular valve with anything else in your house. You don't need anything special other than the screen, which goes inside the O-ring, and you flip that back on. If you want to exchange this cartridge with us and we do not have all the components, we cannot give you a credit. If you've lost the black O-ring or the screens, this cartridge may not be effective long-term in your home. Very simple to install. You simply put it back in the hole and you screw down the lid. Please remember that this is not a mud guard. This is a product that catches water when you are removing the center unit out of the valve. So this would be installed in your wall, and this would allow the water to come up, out, and over the face of your finished wall. Next, I want to talk about the stems that you have. Normally we make this is called a metric altheed sleeve, and it threads on, and it is the locking device that holds the trim as we scale back over here to the trim. These various trims that we have here, are all going to fit onto this valve regardless of the style of different trims. They all are interchangeable with actually not only the 3/4 inch valve, but the 1/2 inch valve. So these stems, these holding nuts, basically they hold the trim on, and they come in different sizes. If for some unknown reason your contractor has buried your valve 8 or 9 inches into the wall, as you can see, we can make you a custom stem, and all the square tubes that slip over the top come in various lengths and be cut shorter or longer in the field by a qualified installer. In this particular application, we have shown you how the valve looks and how it comes apart and how easy it is to switch it out. And it comes in this particular box. This particular fitting right here is just protecting the square spline, because that's what the square tube is going to have to fit over so you can adjust the thermostatic temperature through following the correct instructions. So we're going to put this back out of the way, put it back in its box, and then we can put this one back so we can just go back to the original. So you notice there's no fitting on the false cover, but there is on the finished cover. And then this part, again, is never to be discarded. That is always a keepsake that stays in your wall.